made another dissent collar. I'm so in love with this one. So, okay, first of all, I got this bag of yarn at a thrift store. Oh my gosh, it's probably $300 of alpaca yarn, this yellow yarn. And I was taking something out that was half done and it had this really cool pattern knitted already. So I'm like, I'm gonna turn that into a collar. Then I had this other thing that had a bunch of, it was a different necklace, but it was ruined. So I took it apart, I strung the yellow thing onto this, and then I just started adding crazy yarns. And then I pulled up another bag of beads that I had, and when my husband was in Kenya last year, he got me this necklace, but it had broken recently. So I put these like super lovely, authentic amber beads. And of course, we gotta have a cuff. Anyways, these are my dissent collars, and I came up with the dissent collar when I was dealing with my own journey to find my identity, which we all have to deal with after we leave cults and high control groups, because your number one job in a high control group is not to be an individual. So I was on a journey to build my own identity, because the cool thing is once we can name something in language, once we can be like, oh, I wasn't allowed to have an identity, we can then go out and discover one. So I'm dealing with the fact that I grew up in Brazil and Mexico, and there's absolutely nothing Mexican about me, except for the fact that I lived in Mexico from the very significant ages of 14 and 15 years old. So I was trying to find different pieces, and this has actually been one of the beautiful things for me about all of the crafting that I do, is that I'm not from anywhere. So what I don't want to be is like a white woman that looks like she's appropriating all of these cultures, but I actually am from different pieces of different cultures, and I'm not from anywhere, specifically not American cultures. I have a friend who grew up in Hare Krishnas, and it's even, she just looks like a white, redheaded walking tale of cultural appropriation, but she's from India. She was born and raised her whole life in India, and she dresses like she's from India. So I was on this journey to discover myself and all the parts, and I found this necklace that the original pattern is this Mexican-inspired traditional collar, and I started making them and adapting them for myself, and I really love them. And so I call the collar is called the dissent collar. Little nod to RBG, but just also the fact that like in cults, you're not supposed to be unique. You're not supposed to stand out. You are not supposed to ever do anything that makes you look not uniform. And so these collars, you'll never blend in again. And the cuffs, we call them the exit cost cuffs, because, reminds us of how far we've come and what all we paid